Good afternoon and welcome to the first ever episode of Diggers and Dozers Live. If you don't know me, and there's no reason that you should, I'm your host, Mark Anthony. Before we begin, let me give you a bit of background. When the coronavirus first hit, I started a daily live stream over on our Demolition News channel. That show proved remarkably popular, bizarrely. We had about 500,000 views in just 3 months. But demolition, as we all know, is a fairly small and vertical market. Construction, on the other hand, is huge. Our Demolition News Facebook page has about 11,000 followers, while our Diggers and Dozers Facebook page has more than 100,000. Our Demolition News Instagram page has 118,000 followers, while Diggers and Dozers has roughly twice that many. And so we've decided to extend the reach of our live stream shows and to bring them to the massive and global construction equipment audience. And in absolute truth, we've been looking for a suitable partner with which to launch these shows here on Diggers and Dozers. And I believe that in today's show and in today's guest, we have that perfect partner. I first encountered Mecalac at an SED exhibition here in the UK way back in 1989, 1988, something like that. And one of their machines, a forerunner of today's 12 MTX excavator loader, won a Showstopper Award for innovation. And I must admit, I've watched them with keen interest and fascination ever since. If Mecalac was a celebrity, it would be David Bowie, constantly innovating and forever marching to the beat of its own drum. And like Bowie, Mecalac doesn't conform, and it's endlessly stylish. Now, they're not paying me to say any of this, although I am obviously wearing one of their hats, but Mecalac is always one of the first stands that I seek out at a Bauma, an Intermat, or a ConExpo. Not only do they always put on a good show, but there's always one product that makes you stop and think, where the hell did that come from? And one such product is the new MCR series of skid excavators. Yep, you heard that right, skid excavators. As the name suggests, these new machines are said to combine the speed and agility of a skid steer loader with the 360-degree rotation and the tool carrying capability of a compact excavator. Before I introduce today's guests, can I just ask you to leave any comments that you can? You can ask questions as we go along. I may save them up to the end, but this is your chance to get involved and to find out more. Now, I'm delighted to be joined by Peter Bigwood, General Manager of Mecalac's North and South American operations. We're hoping that Patrick Bramer, Head of Design and Product Management, will join us soon. In fact, I think I can see him coming in the stream. So let's bring Peter in and let's bring Patrick in as well. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Nice to see you, Mark.
Good to see you too. Now, before we look at the new skid excavators, can one of you give our viewers a bit of a history lesson, where Mecalac comes from and what the product range currently includes?
Yeah, I can begin. Well, Mecalac comes from Annecy in France, close to Geneva in the French Alps. It has been established in 1974, and it began with very innovative excavators. Later on in the 2000s, Mecalac has purchased Allman and then established a full range of loaders, swing loaders and articulated loaders. And 2016, just a few years ago, Mecalac has now acquired a part of Terex that brings now backhoe loaders, side dumpers, and compaction rollers. So today it's about 60 kind of products.
It's a very broad range. One of the things that always strikes me about Mecalac is the fact that I guess it's the styling. They're just endlessly stylish and they just have like an industrial elegance. Is that a Mecalac thing? Is that a French thing?
Well, industrial design is not a French thing. Industrial design, it's more than how an object works than how it looks. For us, it comes together. It has to come together. The customer has to see the object, understand how it is done, how it works, what can I do with it. And once we have defined those functions, the design will be established by itself. But yeah, it's very important to be in urban environment to have good-looking objects.
No, absolutely. Now, as I mentioned just before you joined us there, Patrick, my first encounter with Mecalac was with your excavator loader, which, as the name suggests, obviously combines the benefits of two very different, distinct machines. Your latest creation follows that same path, combining a skid steer and an excavator. Before you tell me about it, or before you tell our viewers about it, I thought we'd actually show people what it is we're talking about. So bear with me and I shall play the video. as I said, it's a very smart looking machine. But where does that inspiration come from to combine the very best elements of two very, very different machines? Is that customer driven? Is that application driven? Or is this just Mecalac pushing the envelope as it always seems to do?
Innovation at Mecalac is a very, very important point. Innovation does come from the customer, but not from the customer request. Nobody will tell you, I need one machine that makes a skid steer and or compact truck loader and an excavator, because people cannot imagine what does not exist. But it comes from watching our customers. We spend hours, days, weeks just on the job site watching how people work and imagine what is the problem to solve. What can we make better, faster, safer? And that comes that we see always a compact truck loader just working 1 or 2 hours in the day and one driver for that, 2 trucks to transport all of that. And at the end, the excavator works much, much more. So it came out to say, how can we just make one machine combining all of that? And more than that, if you make one machine combining both, each object gets the benefits of the other one, and then suddenly becomes the fastest crawl excavator in the world and the only compact truck loader with 360-degree rotation. It's by observing our customers.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach. Peter, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, just you mentioned seeing Mecalac at Bauma and Intermat and ConExpo, and obviously the last official act of Mecalac before the world came to an end was ConExpo in Vegas in March. And what struck me as it was my first ConExpo being with Mecalac, was as I walked around our rodeo area where we were demonstrating the machines, is how many people I heard saying, oh my God, I wish I had that machine, last year or these last few years, because they were talking about how they were bringing 2 trailers, they were bringing a skid steer, they were bringing their mini excavator, and this was, for them, it was like they were reading from our script. They immediately understood the benefits, and these were typically small to medium sized contractors. But what I've seen since the time I've been with Mecalac is that it also translates to some of the larger companies, the larger utilities, the larger utility contractors who can obviously do the math and can understand ROI, and so that speaks to them as well. So it's they can quickly see that they can be incredibly more productive and reduce their asset base by focusing on one machine that can do multiple things.
No, absolutely. We will come on to the flexibility and the versatility in a second. But one of the things that really leaps off the page to me, and I will show this on a video in a second, is the compact dimensions of the machine. So before we talk about that, let's have a very quick look at these machines in action. I'm very glad nobody could see me then, because I was actually doing a bit of a dad dance in the background there. Obviously, I've mentioned the compact dimensions, and I think we're all quite familiar with the concept of a zero tail swing, but that's almost a zero everything swing. I don't think I've seen a machine quite so compact before. Tell me about it. Was that one of the key design factors for you?
Yeah, compactness is an interesting thing. Most manufacturers say our machine is compact, reduced tail swing, and zero tail swing, and they make it more and more compact. But by making that, they just make it unstable. But they forget that in the front, there's a boom, a boom with a big offset. So it's compact in the rear and absolutely not in the front. But as it's an excavator, it's made for rotating. So the diameter is not compact, just the back radius. So our vision from compactness is compactness in 3 dimensions. It's in the back, in the front, and even in the height. So that's why it's not only in terms of space management, it has to be very compact, but that brings a lot of benefits to work very closely to your machine. And also that brings the whole balance to the machine. And I think we can speak of that later.
Absolutely. One of the things that struck me, I mean, obviously that video demonstrates the capabilities of that machine in kind of highway maintenance and that kind of thing. But that level of compactness really opens up a whole new world of operating possibilities, doesn't it?
Yeah. Peter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think, if you kind of look at the macro picture of Mecalac, and something that Patrick hasn't mentioned is, when you look at this kind of innovation, and we like to say that innovation is in the DNA of Mecalac, which you had pointed out in your introduction, is that as a company, and I say this coming from Atlas Copco and Brock before, where R&D was absolutely critical for both of those companies' business models, but Mecalac invests almost 6% of their top line revenues in R&D, which is double what Atlas Copco does. And Atlas Copco was known for plowing a huge amount of money into R&D. So that to me is sort of speaks to what you're talking about, is that you have to find ways to to make your customers' lives better and to solve problems for them. But that can only come from the fundamental, DNA of the company of deciding early on that we're going to take this money, this large amount of money that we're generating, and put it back into R&D. And so, as Patrick was saying earlier, and as you were asking about the fact that when we talk about compact, we call it 360-degree compact performance. You see that even in my short time with Mecalac so far. You absolutely see that of people coming back to us and saying that this opens up opportunities for them which they didn't have before, that they can bid jobs that they couldn't before, and obviously not only the compactness but the speed of the machine as well. It just gives them advantages over their competition, which can make the difference between winning a bid or losing one.
Very much so. I think one of the things that really struck me about this, and we will get on to the speed and deployment and that kind of thing in a second, but one of the things that really stands out is this really does take that whole idea of excavator as tool carrier to the ultimate degree, doesn't it? I think one of the things that contributes to that is your connect quick coupler. It allows you to switch in and out front end attachments very, very quickly, which, as I say, goes back to your point about just one machine, one trailer, and a bunch of attachments. You've basically got a fleet in one machine, haven't you?
Exactly. Versatility is about everything. Versatility is not about just one quick coupler. Versatility is about having one quick coupler that allows you to work in every direction, as a loader and as an excavator, which does not exist. It's about the way your boom allows you to work in multi-directional direction, very close to the machine, on the top, on the rear. It's about the power of the engine that gives enough power to the hydraulic pumps. It's about the 2 pumps, one for the boom and one for the driving, in order to have no impact on the smooth driving when you use your boom. And it's all about that makes it an incredible tool carrier. Exactly.
I tell you what, just to demonstrate that, we've got a very nice Mecalac video here. Let's show people what it is that we're talking about. think that video really illustrates the point. I mean, that basically it is a Swiss Army knife of machines, isn't it?
Well, the only thing before Patrick says it, I will say it for him. We used to say that at Mecalac. We used to say that we used to use that imagery and that expression, and then we realized that, you know, as wonderful as a Swiss Army knife is, that the sad truth is it does a lot of things, but it doesn't actually do a lot of things well. And one of the things that we feel, and backed up by our customers, is that let's going back to this issue of the skid excavator concept. The beauty of the skid excavator concept, is the beauty of the MCR, is that it does both modes 100%, and even you can absolutely make the case that it does it, as Patrick had said earlier, it takes it one step further, because not only is it a CTL, compact track loader, that will go up against any CTL, but on top of that, of course, it has the 360-degree rotation of a mini excavator, and all of the other, the dump height, the versatility, and where you dump without tearing up the ground underneath you. So as a skid steer loader or compact track loader, we have nothing to apologize for. It will operate as well as any, but then it goes a step further and then gives you the advantages of the mini excavator. And then similarly, as a mini excavator, as Patrick mentioned, we're twice as fast as any mini excavator on the market. Twice as fast, 6.2 miles per hour. So it's faster than any mini excavator. And then because of the Mecalac boom system, it is much more versatile in what it can do. The lifting capacity is significantly more than any mini excavator on the market. So you get these incredible improvements. And so the Swiss Army knife metaphor really kind of falls a little flat when you really think it all the way through. But yeah, obviously it does. You know, we like to say that an MCR will do 4 things very well: mini excavator, loader, crane, and forks. We put forks on them, and you can have, you obviously you can have a negative lift. You can actually drop your load below grade. So yes, versatile, yes. Swiss Army knife, not so much.
Okay, I apologise for the analogy there. Although my guess is that you don't offer an attachment that will get a stone out of a horse's hoof. I think the point that really comes across there, though, is the fact that versatility does allow the operator or the owner to match this machine to any job site, any application, any material. It really is a multitasking machine, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. As we do not focus on one small problem, we focus on the whole problems of the job site, about space management, productivity, about safety. And in fact, there's no job site, there's no application. It can be landscaping, tunneling, it can be groundworks, canalization, whatever you want. You always have those problems of safety, productivity, versatility. So at the end of the day, you can use it everywhere, and the benefits are huge in every kind of application.
Now, we've spoken at some length about the capabilities of the front end, but obviously I think what the skid steer element of the design brings is that ability to operate more quickly, to get on station more quickly, and to possibly transfer between job sites more quickly as well. Before we speak about that, we have another video. You guys have got a great set of videos, so let's have a look at that in action. It's impressive, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here because, being the professional cynic that I am, that's my job. Tracking a machine across a site at a higher speed does sound great. It sounds a marvelous thing in theory. But what's the stability and the ride comfort like at those higher speeds?
Sorry, Peter, I speak again.
No, go ahead. You're the expert.
It was a very, very interesting topic. When we began with that, within a few have already tested that, and then they have stopped it because it was not comfortable, not where it doesn't get old in a good way, and so on. The secret of that was the balance. In fact, it's so great on that machine because the boom is on the side of the machine. It's not in front of the machine. When the boom is on the front, all the weight is on the front. And then the balance of the machine is not good. And if you make it go faster, this balance will have very negative effects. But as this machine is perfectly balanced, front, rear, and it's laying very flat on the ground, you can speed it up in very great conditions. And the second thing is all about the studies we make on the rollers, how we have positioned them in the space in order that they never fall similarly and the holes and all of that. So there is a lot of work behind that. But basically, it's the balance of the machine that makes it possible to go that fast in very good conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. I realize it's fairly early days. I mean, to the best of my understanding, I think we've already got these machines in Europe, but you've only just got them in the States, Peter. But given that it is early days, have you identified any specific applications where you think, yeah, that's going to be one of our key target markets?
Well, let me speak a little bit to the U.S. market. Mecalac has been around for, I think, 40 years, but only recently, in 2016, made its debut in the U.S. And for a long time, I think Mecalac had just been focusing on the European markets and some other markets, and had sort of shied away from North America. And then in 2016, they were approached by someone who is now a legend within Mecalac, the Mecalac organization, AJ LaRusso, who had a equipment dealership. I think he had Liebherr, and then subsequently had Hyundai at the time in the Boston area in Massachusetts. And he approached Mecalac and said, had seen it at Bauma and had really taken a good hard look at it and wanted to bring it to the U.S. And after some back and forth, they agreed, and he brought it in, and basically he's never looked back. He's done a fantastic job. Russo Heavy Equipment, LHE, in Walpole, if anybody's interested. But then since then, to answer your question, other dealers have come on board, and we have seen certain areas where the Mecalac were early adopters, if you will, because it's kind of an experiment to see for a company that's as well established as Mecalac is in the rest of the world, for us to see what a new market, how a new market will react. And obviously, we've benefited greatly from the fact that Facebook exists and social media exists, because obviously there are lots of people who have seen videos of Mecalacs in operation around the world, and so they can see. And so we often get people reaching out to us saying, okay, I'm a swimming pool contractor and I want to use this MCR for that. To answer your question more specifically, so swimming pool contractor would be one. Septic tank, septic people, they contractors, because again, you can lift something very heavy, you can park the machine, dig the main hole, and then dig the trenches away from the tank, where the tank is going to be, all without moving the machine. So if I were to sort of say, if there's a general theme, it would be specialty contractors love the machine, but then again, also more general contractors who are just looking for an edge. I mean, that we've seen as well. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we see a huge market with utility contractors and then the utilities themselves who do their own work because of the versatility that we talked about earlier.
And Patrick, what's
knowledge?
I was going to say, what's the European experience? Because I guess you're a few months further down the line, aren't you?
The European experience, it's funny because we really have our historical customers that came from road construction and canalization and so on. They jumped quite quickly to the concept. Then it's a lot about landscapers. Landscapers have seen the benefits very quickly. For example, instead of using two machines, putting all the earth down from the truck, moving it with one machine, you directly take it into the truck with the skid bucket. You move quickly, and then you put it, so it's days faster. And then it's all construction people came to that, into building construction, because they saw the benefits of versatility of replacing several people and being quite quicker. So any day, any years, a new kind of customer discovering that and seeing the new benefits for their specific application.
Absolutely. Now, we've had a couple of comments in. One's a very straightforward one, which says, hi from Mecalac, Australia. And then there's another one that's just come up, which I think is backing up what you were saying there, Peter. AJ LaRusso, a legend. I think that makes it official if everyone agrees with that.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have come to market with the MCR range. If my understanding is it's 3 models. I don't want you to give away any trade secrets unless you're really desperate to do so, but the advantages of this design surely apply to both larger and smaller excavators as well. Are we like to see the range extended at some point?
As you're right, we will not give you that's why there is the Bauma, that's why there is ConExpo, but there will be fantastic things coming in the next year. You know, every concept has its perfect size. We have seen it. A skid steer has a limited size. As you don't have 15-ton skid steer, like mini excavators. So I think you will have great innovations, bigger and smaller, but not exactly the same. That's the beauty part of it, that you cannot just take one concept and scale it up or down. It does not work. In bigger, then the activities of the customer are a little bit different, little bit less about versatility, more function. There is one machine for digging. That's why we have another range of 15 MC. They're very compact, all the benefits of compactness and incredible boom, but more focus on 100% digging. And the future of smaller things will be probably great.
Anything to add there, Peter?
I think, yeah, I can tell you that if we had a nickel for every time someone said, when are you going to come out with a 4-ton MCR, we'd all be rich and we could retire. So I can't reveal whether that's coming or not, but certainly we've been asked, and it's also to Patrick's point, you know, our 15-ton unit, the 15 MC, and of course we also make a 15 MWR, which is our wheeled 15-ton excavator. There's a reason it's called 15 MC, because MCR is Mecalac Crawler Rapid. And that refers to the fact that our 6-ton, 8-ton, and 10-ton models all can go 6.2 miles per hour. The 15 MC, missing the R, for rapid, is a more traditional speed. It does not go 6.2 miles per hour. So again, as Patrick pointed out, it's different strokes for different folks. It's for depending on the size and what it's going to be doing primarily. You obviously have different features, but watch this space. There's you know, as I say, R&D is in the DNA of Mecalac, and there are going to be exciting new things coming.
That, in a nutshell, is the task of the construction equipment journalist. You come to market with 3 very exciting machines, and we want 4 or 5. That's how I earn a living, unfortunately. Now we've talked about Mecalac's hardware innovation, but there's been some behind-the-scenes innovation in the field of software too, with your My Mecalac solution joining the telematics revolution, I guess. what is it? How does it work? And what are the benefits to a Mecalac customer? Not sure which one of you would like to field that one.
Patrick.
How is it like?
Well,
Yeah.
well dodged, Peter.
You were faster. What is it? It's a telematic solution to the customer. It's more and more all objects are connected, and the way it's how to make, again, not only the life easier for the customer in the way it works with the machine, but the way he lives with this machine, to make the spare parts quicker available, to make everything ready for before every maintenance is there, and to have a best overview of that. So it's really the beginning of the complete solution of telematics solution of Mecalac.
And all of this is linked to a mobile app now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's directly from your phone, from everywhere. You can have an overview with My Mecalac and have a permanent overview on your full range.
That's fantastic. Look, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I realise you've both got other work to do. I think you've got to get back to work for an afternoon, Patrick. You've probably got a full day ahead of you, Peter. But before we call it a day, where can viewers find out more about your My Mecalac app, and probably more specifically, because that's the real topic of today, where can they find out more about the MCR series of skid excavators?
On our website first, you will have all information out of that. On our YouTube channel, it will be fantastic. You will have all the videos and much more information, and you can find the live demos that we made at ConExpo and much more stuff about that.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I will certainly link that in the description when we upload this to other websites on YouTube and that kind of thing. But in the meantime, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really do appreciate you taking the time, particularly as this is our pilot show here on Diggers and Dozers. We were looking for a company that probably matched our ambitions for innovation, and I think we found it in you guys. We do have one last video to play out with, but before I do that, just want to say thank you again for joining us. Wish you every success with My Mecalac, and even more success with the MCR series as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
I'll
very
speak
much.
to you both very, very soon.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Let's play that video when I can find it. It's there.